We're going to have some fun on a special edition of Orange and Blue today. We call it OBT2, Mace. And yeah, you read the title, you see the thumbnail. Let's get crazy and talk Broncos and Travis Hunter.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's crazy talk.
It's absolutely crazy.
It's insane, insanity. But
let me make it clear. The chances of this happening, I would say they're roughly the chances of the Buffalo Bills coming back against the Houston Oilers in January of 1993 when they trailed 35-3 in the playoffs. Marv Levy said, yeah, I thought we had a chance, about the same chance as the guy winning the New York State Lottery. And of course, the Buffalo Bills came back to win 41-38 in overtime.
They did it.
Yeah. But could it happen? It would take a lot.
It would take a lot.
It would take... Okay. How much do you love Travis Hunter?
He is a unicorn who is the best player in this draft.
Yeah. He's the best corner in this draft.
Second best wide receiver. Some say the best.
You could argue the best potentially. That's the thing.
Yes.
You could argue he is the best corner and the best wide receiver.
Craziness.
There really has never been another prospect like him. He is special.
Yes.
If I had the number 1 overall pick, he's my pick. Sorry, Abdul Carter. But
sorry, Shooter Sanders.
Yeah. If I had number 1, if I had 1-1 and I were the Tennessee Titans, I wouldn't trade the pick. I would take Travis Hunter.
Yep.
My off season, if I were the Tennessee Titans, by the way, would be sign Sam Darnold, add a couple of pieces on the offensive line, and pick Travis Hunter.
Then let him play.
Yeah.
Wherever he wants.
And I'll bet, and I'll bet you I would get that thing turned around in a hurry. Maybe I should have been their GM.
He could do it, that's for sure. And here's the thing. This is your idea. Full disclosure, I'm putting your business in the streets.
Oh, God.
You came at me with this idea. What if we did a show about the Broncos getting Travis Hunter? When I spit out my coffee, then I was like, wait a second, what?
Because it's crazy. Because, well, first of all, let's talk draft value here, okay?
Is this the Jimmy Johnson draft
We're gonna
value chart?
we're gonna go the Rich Hill Patriots model, okay?
Okay. Is that your preference?
They're both fine. They're both fine.
Okay.
I mean, we can use one, we can use the other. It's just the one that I have in front of me.
Okay, so from 20 to 1.
I mean, do we
What does
want
that
we
cost?
want the old Jimmy Johnson model?
Either one.
Okay, the old Jimmy Johnson model, number 1's worth $3,000, and the Broncos pick is worth $850. So you have to make up 2,150 points.
Which is the equivalent of a top 10 pick, I'm guessing, right?
It's the equivalent of pick number 16 and pick number 13. So in other words, you'd be sacrificing your next 2 first-round picks.
Wow.
And maybe more than that. You might be throwing in to move up to pick Travis Hunter. You'd be sacrificing potentially your 2026 and 2027 first rounders and probably a second rounder this year.
Yes, because your pick may be in the 25 to 32, somewhere in there.
This is some Sonny Weaver Jr. level general managing here. Am I going to go up and then I'm going to go back?
Right. This is some Madden Dream Team make it happen type scenario.
Unless you include a player in there.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then who would that player be? If Travis Hunter is the number 1 corner in this class, I hate to say it, and you guys are going to hate that I say it, who wants Riley Moss? Travis Hunter's the number 1 corner. Mm-hmm. If he plays full-time corner, and he wants to play both and then leave it up to the team.
Well, you didn't say Pat Surtain, but
no, that's untouchable.
But the whole thing,
he's untouchable, right? We're getting crazy, but Pat Surtain is untouchable. Yes.
He's also the only player that you could probably trade straight up for the number 1 overall pick. But we're not doing that.
No,
because the whole point is
adding.
I want Surtain and Travis on the field at the same time.
That would be awesome.
Okay. The whole point is you've got nowhere to throw. Like, good luck. Like, no offense to Riley Moss, but you look on one side, you see PS2. You look on the other side, you see Travis Hunter. You've got disaster at both flanks.
Yes.
That's why I'm dreaming here. I'm like, it really would be pick your poison.
Yes. With the pass rush. I mean, locking down the whole field, except inside linebacker maybe.
But you hopefully improve that in free agency.
Nick Bolton, please. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
hopefully you fortified the interior earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is crazy talk. But I kind of like it.
Certifiable.
Yes.
I admit this is like one of the stupidest things I've ever thought of. But, yeah.
These late night in Indies, these late nights, man. They'll get
Late.
to you.
We're recording 7:20.
Putting our business in the streets now. The previous late nights. Tonight we have to have an early night because we have an early morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we just thought we'd do the show as a fun exercise of like, what if?
Okay, so you mentioned Riley Moss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um,
Who's hurt more than I want him to be? And we're only going to tell the truth.
What could you take off the deal if it were Riley Moss and Cortland Sutton both involved in the deal? Because
Wow.
Travis Hunter
Wow.
wants to do it all.
Wow.
Wants to be a receiver and a corner.
But just like you want Surtain and Travis, I want Sutton and Travis.
Okay. But he's the one that has value. Or are you saying, I mean, because Marvin Mims Jr. is a dynamic piece, but he doesn't, he's not going to move the
He's
needle.
not yet moving
The other
needle.
thing with Cortland Sutton is, are you selling high on him? Last year wouldn't have been a sell high point. That was sort of the argument
Right.
last year, like against
Didn't the
Jerry
Ravens
Jeudy,
call,
Cortland
like,
Sutton.
stuff like that?
Yeah, like you weren't,
Mhm.
if you're going to sell high. You're actually selling, if you moved on from Cortland Sutton, that value probably is never going to be higher than it is today.
You have to make a decision to pay him essentially his final larger deal.
But it wouldn't take
Or
that much
trade it.
off the deal. Like, I think maybe like
No.
I said like that second round pick in there. I mean,
That might take that
you
off.
might take that. Well,
It might not.
Or it turns it into a 3 or a 4.
I just don't like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't move it enough.
Yeah.
But who else would be? And dare I say we're getting crazy, but like Zach Allen? If you think of, and this is kind of a measure of the weight of the Broncos roster,
You better
who's
find
tradable?
You better find Zach Allen 2.0.
Isn't this the defensive
draft.
tackle class to do that?
Yeah, I mean, not a sure thing, but you'd be looking for that day 2. But again, what draft pick are you sacrificing? And then you're also not answering the tight end question too. Yeah. Unless you decide to sign Juwan Johnson in free agency and say we're good. I don't know if you want to do that. And then
Adam Trout and Juwan
or
Johnson.
Juwan Johnson then take Aronde Gadsden on day 3 and see where he goes.
Okay. Fairweather undrafted, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luke Lachey.
Ooh, Luke Lachey.
Okay.
One of those 6th rounders if he's there.
All right. So you're gonna throw. You're gonna.
I like
throw,
that. I
You're
like
gonna
that.
you're gonna throw a dart. Maybe
Yeah.
even a couple of darts.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. But it's not the same as Colston Loveland or Elijah Arroyo, who
No.
we're basically taking out of the picture here in this
Yes.
exercise.
Yes.
Yeah. Man.
You're also taking off a chance for Marion Hampton in the first at 20, which needs to be part of the conversation now as well.
The only way this works is I think you'd say, okay, we're signing Aaron Jones. That's our running back this year.
Okay.
Like you're going for like the guarantee on the box, basically.
Go get the veteran, go get you an Aaron Jones. But Travis Hunter on this team, working what he wants to, and what he said today at the combine of like, I want to play all the time, and then you have to tell me, the team has to tell him what their plan is. So, and it's interesting to know how certain teams look at him. I believe it was Cleveland and Andrew Berry that said we look at him mostly as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Other teams say he's a corner. I talked to Emery Hunt, who's one of the best draft analysts out there from CBS Sports, and Emery has graded him as a corner, number 1 in this draft class. So how do you look at it?
Well, I mean, I look at him as, you
Playmaker.
said a unicorn,
Yeah.
ultimate playmaker. I'm finding ways to get him the ball, to get him opportunities.
Designing plays.
I'm designing plays for him on offense, and I'm telling him, okay, Pat's got one side, you got the other.
Oh, and he's on somebody's second receiver. That means he's locking him down.
But that means also, think of what it means for Pat, because if he's locking down wide receiver 2, then you got a quarterback who's saying, I'm going to my bread and butter guy. but that means he's testing Surtain more, so it's setting Pat up for more big plays.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, Pat is having a lot more moments like he had against the Raiders.
So is this less crazy now that we've talked about it? Still crazy.
It's crazy because it's not going to happen.
But is it less crazy because of what you mentioned? You're essentially moving some pieces around, still adding talent that you need, and Aaron Jones, those couple of tight ends in the draft, which you're going to be available on day 3, and taking that big move for Trav.
Well, the other thing also you're doing here is you're saying, okay, we're going to fill some needs in free agency. So you're taking advantage of Bo Nix being on a rookie contract and saying we're going to fill those needs with veterans, and rather than the draft.
Okay.
Of course, you're hoping over the horizon you're paying Bo Nix and Travis Hunter someday.
Yes.
Whew.
That's a combination. You want 2 core pieces for the future?
Spicy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How would you like them apples?
Well, I like the sound of them apples, Will. That's a deep cut.
Yes, it is. If you know, you know.
I said I like it. Not that I don't like
Do you
it.
straight need it, though?
Yeah.
Do you need this? Because he fills 2
Well, it's
positions.
Well, it's Travis Hunter, and it's hunting season.
That it is.
This is my crazy. It's just crazy. Like, it's not going to
It is.
happen.
You don't even drink coffee, and you're getting crazy.
Yeah,
Lubed up
sure.
on the combine.
Yeah, I drink tea. I drink soda. I don't drink coffee.
Okay. I drink coffee and no Mountain Dew Zero in Indianapolis. Not that I'm bitter about that.
We just got to know where to find it. You got to go to the.
I want to go to the convention center. I want to go to the ESPN studios.
There's a Taco Bell about 300 paces from where you're recording your radio show.
Baja Blast?
Yes, Baja Blast and Baja Blast Zero.
I need that.
Baja Blast from the fountain slaps.
Did we just figure out dinner tonight?
Why, you want to go to Taco Bell and get some
It's
Baja
I haven't had a Mountain Dew
Blast?
since Saturday. I'm going nuts here. Craziness.
And you want it from the fountain
Yes.
because it does.
It tastes better.
That's the thing. Coke Zero and Mountain Dew Zero hits different from the fountain.
We could make a trip over there. Will the Broncos make this trip for Travis Hunter?
No,
they're not gonna
they
do it.
won't.
They're not going to do it. They're not going
They're not going to do it.
But man, it
Let's-
would be fun.
Let's just live in dream world for a moment here.
Well, let's go
And we
back to
just
this.
did.
You're going to get as offended as you like, which is fine. But the Riley Moss thing, dude, we love Riley Moss, but he is hurt too often. The first season that he plays, the full season, will be the first season. I messed that up. The next time he plays a full season will be the first time. So we can talk about the truth, or we can just put our blinders on and be like, you're okay with Riley Moss. Are you? Everyone else is staying healthy. Sean Payton bragging about it with Bo Lowry, right? And we love Bo Lowry. But my God, Riley Moss needs you to stay healthy, man.
Well, look, the Broncos are scheduled to visit with Trey Amos of Mississippi here at the Combine.
Who might be a late first-round pick.
Yes. So, what does that tell you?
I asked the question on Twitter the other day.
Or they did visit that because
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, Trey Amos is a late first, early second-round pick. You know, he's got some size, got some speed,
Yeah.
physicality, kind of like Riley Moss. But what does that tell you? You, as a level-headed football analyst, an all-around great guy, what does that tell you about they have an interest in a borderline first-round corner? That's interesting. It's not nothing. Might not be everything, but it's not nothing.
Well, you make contingency plans like for where you stand pick-wise and what you might end up doing in free agency and also just how the board might go. I do believe if one of Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Omarion Hampton are on the board at 20, I do believe if one of them is there, they will pick that player. But what if they're all gone? Well, and what if you don't get a trade offer you like? I mean, you have to
You have to make
you
a
have to make a pick. You can still help your team, and you might say the thing, oh, we're thrilled, they'll get up there and they'll say that, but yeah, every team has a moment where they're like, bleep.
Bleep word, bleep
Yeah,
word,
we
bleep
wanted,
word.
we wanted that guy. We needed that guy to fall. So, when they get up there and they say, "Oh, it went exactly as we hoped," that's never true. That's never true. There's always one that got away, or two, or three. Some years they all got away, and then you're just screwed. Rarely, I shouldn't say never, because sometimes you get that year where everything proceeds as you foresaw. As the emperor might say.
Sometimes you get the year when you're drafting Carlos Henderson.
And Isaiah McKenzie and Brendan Langley.
Brendan Langley, yes. Poor Brendan Langley, but still, okay.
I remember when the Brendan Langley pick came in, all respect to him, but I'm like, my first reaction was like, gosh, I remember watching him one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl, and he was just grabbing everybody.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, all right.
So this had better work. How many Star Wars references can we get in?
Yeah, the thing is, the Garrett Bowles at the top of that draft worked out very well as it turned out.
Very well, yes.
And DeMarcus Walker's still playing.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Walker, I thought, got misused by the Broncos. You're asking him to drop weight, be an edge, put weight on. He should have just stayed they should have just kept him as an interior pass rusher.
Yep.
Okay? He's not a first and second down guy, but as a sub-package interior rusher, he's quicker than any guard he goes against. He's agile, and we've seen time and again he's a very efficient pass rusher.
Right.
And he was that with the Broncos as well. I mean, they could still use him today.
They could, yeah.
Yeah. So DeMarcus Walker actually ended up being a really good player, and a very solid pick. But they just spent 2 years futzing around, not knowing what to do with him.
Yep, it happens.
And saying,
sometimes.
"Oh, you got to drop weight. Oh, you got to put weight back on." No wonder he wanted to leave at the end of it.
Well, here's a conversation I didn't think we were getting into, but let's do it because it makes me think of Justin Hollins, right? And then even Baron Browning. And who's the new guy that's getting moved around?
Drew Sanders.
Is that a mistake?
Moving him back to inside linebacker?
I had him graded as the number 1 ILB when he came out of college, so I don't mind that move, but you mentioned it with DeMarcus Walker. It's like he's add weight, drop weight, add weight, drop weight. I like Sanders, you're outside, you're inside. He was inside first, right?
Yeah,
and then they're outside, and now he's back to inside.
He was inside, and to put it kindly, when he played on the inside, he got forced out there because Joseph Jewell got injured in September of 23 when the defense was 7 shades of awful.
It was not great, Bob.
Not great.
Yeah.
So I do think there was a little bit of a panic at that moment. And okay, let's try him on the edge. And now he's back on the inside. I do think some of the move back to the inside is there isn't room for him on the edge right now. He basically, what happened was Dondrea Tillman took his spot. They drafted Jonah Ellis, who's done fine, but really Dondrea Tillman took his position.
What a find.
Yeah. Like he got Wally pipped over at edge, and then you move him back inside because they wanted to get Drew Sanders out there for special teams, and as you've seen, he's very good in coverage. Like he's a see ball, get ball guy, and he can fly down the field on punt coverage, especially. So if you have him at edge, he's going to be inactive because you're not activating 5 edges, you're only activating 4. The way to get him on the field was, okay, he's got to be a backup inside linebacker where you can have 4 guys active. So that's part of the rationale there too. And then you just, you be positive about him. I mean, George Payton was kind of building him up this week, and see where it goes. But that being said, I expect them to sign an inside linebacker in free agency. I expect that when we project the starting lineup here in a few weeks, that it'll be Alex Singleton and a free agent signee at inside linebacker with Drew Sanders backing him up.
And then hopefully Sanders is your Singleton replacement next year.
You're giving him time. He needs a runway. Let's just see where he goes. And then if he doesn't make enough progress, if he's just a backup but a good special teamer, then you cross that item off the checklist next year.
The show went all over the place, Mace.
Well, yeah. It's kind of
It
what
started
happens.
with the craziness of Travis Hunter, which
It
is
actually
still cool.
It actually came back to a relatively normal show.
Are we normal?
No.
Decide for us in the comments, because I don't think we are, which is fine.
I'm not normal. I'm
Perfectly
weird.
cromulent.
I fully admit I'm weird.
If you were... Get that drop. If you were a Simpsons character, which one would you be? Because I'm comic book guy, minus the weight. Worst episode ever.
Ooh.
I'm not saying I'm happy Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down running Disney Star Wars, but I would anticipate that Star Wars will improve now that Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down from her job at Lucasfilm.
I don't think I'm one. Well, to answer your question about the Simpsons characters, I don't think I'm one character. Sometimes I can be.
Are you an amalgamation?
Sometimes I can be Lisa Simpson.
Okay.
Which can be pedantic, preachy, and some annoying.
Your self-awareness is off the charts.
The fact that I opened this show talking about something that is crazy and cannot happen, that is straight up Homer Simpson.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
yes, all right.
Sometimes I really hate myself and my existence. That's for my shrink. At that point, I am Mo, the bartender, Mo Sislak, as Chris
Yes.
Thomason says hello.
Yes, that's our guy, Chris.
I think I can be both Lenny and Carl.
We're wrapping up the show, Chris. I think Chris is waiting to go get a Baja Blast as well. So,
Yeah, so I think I can be all those. What Simpsons character do you think I am? I mean, and I guess since I can be nerdy, I think I'm also Milhouse. Actually, that was so obvious. I didn't really want to. Or Milhouse or Martin.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Some would probably say Martin.
Okay. I'll take that.
Yes.
I also take your help out on YouTube. Mace, how do people do that?
Like,
Comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell.
so that you
never miss a vid.
He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at C Salami saying OBT's BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Stay frosty.